This is 10 Eyewitness News. First at 5 with Amber Austin-Wright.
Good evening. Just one day after Andrew Antoniolli became its second mayor to be charged by the CCC, Ipswich is tonight a council in chaos. In an extraordinary measure, the state government has moved to sack the entire governing body and appoint an administrator. It comes after its besieged leader this morning stood down. Tegan George reports.
They couldn't avoid it any longer.
Enough is enough. This will stop. I am stopping it.
The state government taking the momentous step to sack Ipswich City Council. Yesterday's fraud charges against Mayor Andrew Antoniolli, the final straw.
I have reached the conclusion that the Ipswich City Council can no longer function effectively.
Mr Antoniolli had already announced he was standing down until his court matters were resolved. The council saying it was in the best interest of the city and his family. He's also resigned from the Labor Party.
We have to have natural justice. We just can't summarily dismiss people. They've got to have their day in court. They've got to argue their side of the case.
The house of cards started to crumble when the state's corruption watchdog launched Operation Belcara in 2016. Then Mayor Paul Palaszczuk was the first in Ipswich to fall from grace. He faces a range of charges, including official corruption and extortion. Now 12 people are facing 66 criminal charges, including 2 mayors and 2 CEOs.
When was the Premier first warned about concerns in Ipswich?
When issues are raised publicly, we take action.
But not according to Labor's own MP, Bundamba's Joanne Miller.
For 14 years I've been raising these issues.
The Premier waited until the second Labor mayor from Ipswich was in the watch house before she acted. I mean, let's a fair crack of the whip.
Last night, Ms Miller confronted Minister Sterling Hinchliffe at the back of the chamber, demanding a public apology from the party for the way it treated her over the ongoing saga.
Today's announcement ends the tyranny in Ipswich. Many people have had their lives destroyed.
The government won't admit when it knew.
They want to come in here and talk about who knew what when. Well, let's talk about what day.
You hated the CCC.
Premier.
Ipswich City Council now has around a month to respond to the show cause notice. In the meantime, when Cabinet meets next Monday, it'll decide on new, tougher powers for the local government minister. And maybe whether it's time to heal old wounds.
When people say that you can't and you shouldn't and don't tell the truth, God says you can and you should, and I did.
Tegan George, 10 Eyewitness News.
Remaining Ipswich City Councillors are vowing to fight for their jobs and prove they're fit to continue leading the city. But with Mr Antoniolli now in hiding, there are growing calls from residents for a complete change. Here's Lauren Day.
Andrew Antoniolli backing away from the top job, refusing to talk before standing down as Ipswich Mayor. His temporary replacement, Deputy Mayor Wayne Wendt, but it may be a short tenure.
The state government this morning announced its intention to initiate proceedings which may or may not lead to this council being moved into the hands of administrators. We intend to show with the utmost of integrity why that should not happen.
Council claims the fraud allegations against Mr Antoniolli have come as a shock.
Many of the charges relate to paperwork and record keeping, and many of those allegations are in relation to money given to charity.
But Mr Wendt refused to answer questions.
And you'll hear more soon. Thank you.
Fellow councillors who are now also facing the chopping block held a crisis meeting.
You know you'll be sacked?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think anyone knows.
You must be upset though.
Of course I'm not upset, and I'm upset with the city.
I don't know of any charges that I'd be looking at all.
The entire team will fight to keep their jobs in their response to the state government's notice to show cause.
How will you do that? What will you do?
We'll do it as professionally as possible in the protection of the city.
But residents are furious and calling for change. Many want a completely new council and a fresh start.
Sack all the council and bring Mike McGuinness up.
How let down do you feel?
Persecutedly so. At 74, do you think I need this type of crap?
Mr Antoniolli promised accountability and transparency when launching his mayoral campaign last year.
I will ensure the veil of secrecy is removed. I greatly guard my integrity. As a councillor, I have never been the subject of an investigation.
He became mayor only after former mayor Paul Palaszczuk was charged with corruption and extortion.
After our last debacle with the last mayor, we hoped this one would be good. So really, I think the whole council should go and we should start again.
There's so much attention going to be on this that the things that need to be done around the area will not be done.
No one believes it's ever going to get better or end.
And now no one knows how it will end for a council and city in crisis. Lauren Day, 10 Eyewitness News.